welcome to the International Feng Shui School. I'm Amanda Collins, the founder, and I'm here today. I'm really honored and delighted to be here today to share with you how to create a sacred altar in your home. Now, altars to me are a very powerful way to connect with the deepest, most loving part of yourself, to connect with your higher self, to connect with the divine. So I'm really grateful to be able to share this knowledge and this wisdom that I've traveled all over the world, finding out how all the different countries around the world bring this beautiful ancient tradition into the modern day life. So I'd love to share with you, first of all, just a couple of guidelines. You can really create an altar in any way you like. But first of all, I'm going to show you how a couple of tools that I like to use. So I love to bring the 5 elements of Feng Shui in when I'm creating my altar. If you are anywhere in the world that you would like to bring sacred water back from, you can just bless your own water that comes out of the tap. But I love to bring the element of water in. That reminds us just to be more fluid and more flexible in life and to go with the flow. And water also represents prosperity and abundance. I love to bring fresh flowers onto my altar and keep them fresh as well. Replace them when they need it. So I love to bring flowers in. They give a beautiful aroma, and then they bring in the wood element, which is related with creativity and growth in our lives. Then I love to bring the earth element in. And if you'll notice, the left side of the altar is to do with the very yin, the very feminine side. So I do all smooth kind of rocks and stuff that I put on the left. And on the right, that's more the masculine side and the yang side of the altar. So I love to bring rougher kind of rocks. Now I consciously have chosen clear quartz here, just to keep that clarity and that focus, and it supports intuition. And then I brought some citrine in, which helps with creativity, prosperity, and healing. And then, of course, we always love to bring the fire that reminds us about that passion in life. So I bring beautiful candles onto the altar. And then, as you'll notice, I sometimes just, whatever card I may have pulled, like I love this one, you're responsible for your own happiness. This is just a nice reminder. If I pull a certain card that I love, I'll place it on the altar. And I love this one as well, accept your own beauty. So this altar is just really about finding that place of self-love and that connection. And then these mala beads were something sacred that were brought back from India. And then last but not least, I have the very beautiful Kuan Yin. And I love Kuan Yin. She's a female goddess, and she's the goddess of love and compassion. So she reminds us to forgive and allow healing with the heart, to love self and to love others. So this is just some tips then. Bring the 5 elements in, the mala beads, and then last but not least on here I have a magic wand, and that brings, you can see there's some metal on that, so that brings in the element of metal and reminds you to connect with your own light and your own inner magic. So just some other ideas for some sacred items you could bring onto your altar. Some incense to honor the 5 senses, the sense of smell. And fresh flowers will also do that, but it's very ceremonial. It's like when you go to your altar, maybe you light the candle or you burn some incense. Maybe you bring the owl energy in if you want to connect with your own wisdom, your own intuition, that inner part of yourself. You can bring the owls. Or if you want to create an altar for fertility, maybe you bring a mama and baby owl. And then carnelian is a very powerful gem because it's also that second chakra. So maybe that beautiful orange color to enhance fertility. The acorn reminds us of strength. And this one little acorn can become that entire tree. To knowing that power is within that acorn. A pendulum. Maybe you want to come to your altar to ask for guidance, and you bring a pendulum, and you can you can program it. So if it goes clockwise, it gives you a yes, counterclockwise, no. So maybe you come to your altar when you've got questions that you want to ask. Maybe you want to connect with your own inner joy and that magic, and you place a little magic wand on there. And then it's beautiful and very ceremonial to have some kind of sound. So you could bring a singing bowl on there. So maybe you come to your altar and you play your bowl first thing when you come to it. Maybe you want to connect with your dreamland. You want to connect with your dreams. So you bring a dream catcher on there, or even a journal. You bring your journal and you sit at your altar and you write in your journal and you meditate. Maybe you want to pray for others, for yourself, for other places in the world that need it. So there's just some other ideas of gems and stones and crystals and special things you can bring on. And I just love this altar. This is a traveling altar, so it's beautiful. You can take it anywhere you go with you. And if you can see, nothing's bigger than an inch. And it's a really, really beautiful, balanced, sacred altar. And I always just have flowers from wherever I am, so I add them to it. And I've brought in some beautiful crystals and heart-shaped. I love the smooth shape in the crystals. And then as you can see, I've added some really special little pieces. So I've got Saraswati, the goddess of creativity and creation and of the arts. So I thought, why not bring that energy and enhance that, right? And connect with that more. And I've got Green Tara. And she's always a reminder, especially if you're traveling and any fears come up, she's a reminder to really just let go of those and move forward. They're all the Hindu god and goddesses. And then I've got Shiva. She is the ultimate creator, really remind you to be in your power. And then I've got Ganesh, and I always have Ganesh with me because he is the Hindu god. He's the remover of obstacles, and I like to think of him as the bouncer in a way, right? He just doesn't let any of that negative stuff into the space. And then I've also always, never leave home without her, I've got my beautiful Kuan Yin, again the goddess of love and compassion. And usually you'll see her, and she has a dragon at her feet, and it shows she's the only goddess powerful enough with her love to tame the energy of the dragon. And then I've got Shiva again, and then of course the Om symbol. So Om, that sacred symbol of the universe, that universal sound of consciousness. And I love it because this whole little altar will fit into this baggie. So it's so perfect. You get to carry your altar, all your sacred items with you, and you just get them to take wherever you go with you. So this is another really special way to do it, okay? So next of all, we have the altar of self-love, or an altar to help you attract your soulmate, your twin flame in. So you'll notice that I picked a tablecloth that's red or pink in color, because they're the colors for love, right? And then I brought some really special items in to really work on that. And maybe you could get placed in the southwest location of your home, which is to do with love and romance and self-love as well. So I brought a Radha and Krishna in to the altar. And they're the Hindu gods of twin flames, of soulmates. So that's a beautiful reminder and very powerful to bring their energy on there. And of course, as you've noticed on all the altars, I always tend to bring that beautiful Kuan Yin energy there. So again, she's the goddess of love, so she has to be on the altar of love, right? And then I've got a card, just remind with Kuan Yin there again. And then Isolde. And Isolde, she is the goddess of love, undying love as well. And then maybe a couple of red roses, pink roses to remind you of self-love and that energy of the heart. And then I also, you'll see, added a little key there to remind you that you have the key to forgiveness and to unleash that unconditional self-love. Because we know we have to be in that place in order to attract that loving partner. We have to be in a place of self-love. And then of course, I brought in rose quartz, the gem for healing the heart and for love and compassion as well. And if you'll notice, they're in a heart shape. And also, I always love to have them in pairs, because if you want to attract your soulmate, right, it's a good reminder that things would need to be in pairs all throughout your home as well. Not just one nightstand and one light. We want to say that we're supporting somebody else to come into our life. And then also, you'll notice I've added, this is a letter to your soulmate. So I've added this letter, and it's a letter that I usually, when I invite people to create them, to meditate on what it would be like to be in that loving relationship. And then when you come out of that meditative space, have pen and paper by you, and then you just allow yourself to come through with, what does it feel like? What would it be like to be in that unconditional loving relationship where you support and lift each other up, where you communicate, where you're kind and patient with each other? So how powerful to place that on your altar. And with an altar, I invite to come to it daily, visit it daily, and don't let it get stagnant, like change it up maybe once a week or so. If you put fresh flowers on it, dust it off, clean it. And the altar, it's really, really important that it goes somewhere that's really private. You don't need every single person that steps inside your home to look at your altar. These are like very, very intimate part of you that you place on this altar. So it's nice that it's somewhere that you'll use it every day, but not somewhere that everybody that comes into your home sees it. And also with an altar, we rather not have it directly across from the bed, because having these sacred symbols across from the bed, it can be disrespectful. So I suggest if they need to go in your bedroom, maybe over in the corner, and maybe a cover goes over it when you're sleeping, or, being intimate in the bedroom, right? So this is a little bit on an altar for self-love. And an altar is a beautiful way to bring the elements, the natural elements inside. So I love this altar. You don't need to buy anything for this. And this can be an altar that you create while you're traveling. It can be an altar in your garden. It can be an altar in your home. And it's just made from the natural elements that you felt a connection to. So always we bring the wood element in with fresh flowers. And it could be you pick the orange because you want to increase your sensual energy, your creative energy, right? If you think about that second chakra, the color orange is powerful to bring in. And then I've picked this beautiful leaf from this tree that I was meditating in, and it fell off right while I was there, and I felt like it was a special gift for my altar. And then I've also got the water element, and this was just water that I brought from the ocean. And when I was down there taking a walk, and it felt very sacred to me, so I brought this home to my altar. And then I have some sand, and I just really felt like I wanted that grounding that the earth has to offer, so that's why that got pasted on there. And then I have this beautiful stone that I found, but I think it's really powerful because it looks to me like when I saw Mother Mary, and it carries that beautiful, loving energy that she holds for us. And then I have the element of air on there as well. So I have a feather, and it actually fell from a hawk in front of my eyes. So these are all just sacred elements of nature, of Mother Nature, that I feel are very sacred and bring powerful reminders for me of very special times that I've had. So again, nothing was purchased here. It was just gifts and messages from nature that are shared with you.